Welcome to Pulp Morgan, the search for a lost literary classic from the Pulp era. Last episode was awesome, but will our luck hold out? Will we have two museum-ranked novels back-to-back? Stick around to find out. But no. But first about the author. Unfortunately, information on Allen Adler is scarce. I literally just have his obituary and his author bio on the back of one of his books. I also couldn't find any credible images of the author, so during this segment, I'll just include images and clips from some of his most notable screen work. Adler was born on December 25, 1916, and he died in 1964 at the age of 47. He majored in English at New York University and served in the Air Force during World War II. Adler was born into, lived and breathed theater. His father Adolf, well, not that Adolf, was a theater owner and manager, and his grandfather was Jacob Pavlovich Adler, a well-known and respected Yiddish actor. Allen Adler owned a theater in New York, was a presenter for touring opera companies, produced plays, and wrote screenplays. He is most well known for writing the screenplays for The Forbidden Planet and The Giant Behemoth. However, his Hollywood career was cut short as Adler was the victim of McCarthyism and was blacklisted from Hollywood during the Second Red Scare. Which brings us to Terror on Planet Ionus. An indescribable horror is almost upon you, Earthlings. Your reason and caution will die with your bodies. Karkong exists! Less than a minute later, atomic torpedo man Jeb Curtis saw Karkong. The hideous planet eater towered over 30 feet in height, clawing at the lightning bolts around him. The monster's form was that of a human giant burned black by its own heat. The tendons of its powerful muscles ran like tree roots across its body, so that it looked like a huge, human-shaped pile of smoldering pitch. It writhed in a frenzy of uncontrolled fury. Karkong was starving.
I'm starving to death.
And this time it wanted to devour Earth itself. This was the terror on the planet Ionus that Jeb Curtis had to kill, so Earth might survive. Terror on Planet Ionus was originally titled Mach 1, A Story of Planet Ionus, and was published in 1957 by Farrar, Straus, and Cudahy. It is 160 pages and is Adler's first and only published book. I own the third printing, published by Paperback Library in 1969 for 60 cents. The cover is by Jerome Podwell. I typically enjoy Podwell's art, and that's what drew me to this cover. A giant lava monster roaring at the sky while a cool space fighter flies right at him. It promises action, and Podwell was a master at using colors to convey feeling and tone, and the layers of red emphasize danger and, well, terror. Good job, Jerry. The original hardcover isn't too hard to find for the $15 to $20 range if you're so inclined, but any paperback edition you can get for a couple bucks. The story is very simple. Jeb, an experimental test pilot of the Mach 1, is kidnapped by aliens along with his female companion, and they are taken to Ionus, which ends up being one of the moons of Saturn. Once there, they are introduced to the monster Karkong, but then the monster follows them back to Earth, and that's when things really get hairy. The cover. As I stated a moment ago, the cover really is the best part of the book. Now, it isn't spectacular, but it does exactly what a cover should do, and that is arrest attention and pull in potential readers. I mean, just look at it. It promises action and fun. Unfortunately, and this isn't Podwell's fault, those promises are a bit of a lie. I actually like the idea of Karkong. Not King Kong, Karkong. Just the idea of this mysterious, unstoppable force that has been decimating this planet. It's just cool and it's interesting. It actually reminds me of the Nothing from the Neverending Story. Just this strange force. Karkong spends a majority of the book kind of engulfed in this energy cloud-like thing, and I think that's where he was most successful as a villain, just being obscured. He is revealed at the end, his true form, and the reveal is interesting. Unfortunately, that's where all the good ends, because while interesting, the execution of Karkong was amateurish and lame. Now, the bad. And there's a lot of bad. This book has a fairly robust cast, and every single character is unlikable.
Nobody likes you.
I say every single character, but in truth, everyone is the exact same character. Blue-skinned alien, red-skinned alien, a military general, a state senator, a bartender, a scientist. It really doesn't matter. They all talk like a 14-year-old boy.
I think I can sometimes be quite difficult because I'm quite up here, quite immature still.
I would be willing to bet money that they all talk exactly like Allen Adler. Kind of piggybacking on that last point, the main protagonist, Jeb Curtis, is by far the most unlikable character.
You don't have any friends.
Now, I don't need Clark Kent or like a Boy Scout to be my main protagonist. In fact, a good writer can make a despicable character endearing. Drood, my favorite Dan Simmons book, might be the best example of this that I can think of. It's not sci-fi, but pause what you're reading now and please go read Drood. It's incredible. A competent writer can make a severely flawed and unlikable character engaging. But Allen Adler can't. We are told Jeb Curtis is charming, but in fact he is annoying and immature. Also, if you want to endear your protagonist to the reader, maybe don't have the story open up with him forcing himself upon a woman who's hitting him and screaming no.
This that's happening here is not allowed.
You only get one first impression and, call me old-fashioned, but attempted rape might not be the best foot forward. This one happened a few times, but Adler will write the wrong character in the wrong scene, even characters who aren't even on the same planet. Wait, when did Curtis get here? Oh, he didn't. Adler wasn't paying attention. Our charming hero Jeb and the woman whose name I have forgotten because she was so unbelievably forgettable are abducted by aliens and taken to the planet Ionus for reasons. I assume they're taken there for reasons. We're not told the reasons. Yeah, but I'm sure there was one. Okay, I'm not sure there was one. But anyway, they're just taken there. The entire trip there takes about a third of the book, and it is nearly unreadable. Things keep happening, but they often don't make sense, and they're never explained clearly. Like the whole abduction, the ship's interior, the decontamination process, the ins and outs and nuance of space travel, all of this is just extremely convoluted and extremely opaque. I'm guessing that Adler thought he was just being sci-fi by writing confusing and weird things or trying to appear smarter than he was, but it was just annoying.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
In fact, there was so little detail and clarification given that I'm actually getting frustrated because I feel like I can't accurately explain to you what I'm talking about. I can't give you an example because anything I read just wouldn't make sense. I just kept writing in my notepad, things are happening with a question mark. It's so frustrating. I've rewritten and re-recorded this section like 10 times and I can't make it make sense to you. I would say you have to read it to understand what I'm talking about, but I would not wish that upon anyone. And then suddenly, Jeb is back on Earth, and Karkong is like an hour behind him. After this criminally long and agonizingly convoluted process, Adler just snaps his magic rider finger and pops it right back. The way that Adler wrote it, it wasn't like we just jumped ahead in time. All of a sudden, Jeb was just back after taking a third of the... Oh, I'm so frustrated! At the end of the day, Adler is just not a good writer. His pacing is abysmal. The characters are stiff and wooden, the dialogue is clunky and awkward, and his descriptions bounce between nonsensical to just outright bizarre. But most egregious is his comically improper use of adverbs. He pointed to the wall that the woman disdainfully leaned upon. Explain to me, Alan. How does one lean disdainfully? He puffed his cigarette contagiously. Well, that one actually does make sense because, how many times have we all been in a situation where we see somebody going to town on a cigarette and we think, boy, I hope I don't catch cigarettes. Hey, take it easy. You're puffing like a choo-choo train. Hey! There were so many more that I didn't write down. I was just reading and shaking my head continually. Somehow those cigarettes disappeared. I could go on and on, but I don't want to do this review idiosyncratically. I don't want to flagellantly review. Adverbs are hard! Despite this being 160 pages of pure dog water, I did find myself laughing quite a bit. Adler continually refers to Ionus as a planet. It's even in the title, planet. However, he also draws a distinction that Ionus is actually a moon. Al, planets are... I don't want to get all nerdy on you. Planets and moons they're a little different. They're different in more ways than one. But it's round, it's in space, so close enough. Be serious for a second. Karkong is coming, and Earth has but precious hours to prepare. So the aliens and Jeb make a plan, and their plan is to drop Jeb off at the military base. The very same one that hates him, thinks he's a crazy person or a traitor. And he has to convince them that aliens are real. So then the aliens will land and will convince the military brass that Karkong is coming. Then they can start to prepare. Hi, I have a question. If the main crux of your plan, the linchpin of your plan, rests on Jeb convincing the military brass that aliens are real, I don't know. Wouldn't it make more sense for you aliens to land, introduce yourself to the military brass and say, "Hi, I'm an alien, and I exist"? But they don't, so Karkong lands, starts burning stuff, thousands die, and we're left wondering if aliens are actually secret idiots. Commander Hodges was tall, relaxed, easygoing, a constant pipe smoker. And he had ulcers. I bet that'll be important later on. I bet Allen Adler is setting something up. Nope! This book is stuffed to the gills with useless information. The only Chekhov's gun around here is what I wish I had so I could skeet shoot this piece. When we are first introduced to the monster Karkong, he absorbs and consumes everything. Electricity, oxygen, pockets of gas, matter, everything. Like even the mountains of Ionus have been completely leveled by Karkong. As I said before, initially I really liked Karkong. Unfortunately, as soon as Karkong gets to Earth, it seems like he has forgotten all of that. Now Karkong only eats electricity, and instead of consuming everything, he kind of just rolls around looking for electricity, because that's the only thing he eats now, kind of burning and singeing stuff as he blobs around the countryside. It's like Adler forgot what he wrote literally 2 chapters ago. It's the tale of 2 Karkongs. It's dumb! Nothing the military does seems to have any effect on the monster. Every defense failed. Every attack on the thing was impotent. America the Goliath had suddenly become David. If you'll permit me, my friends, we're going to take a jaunt back to Sunday school for just a moment because that doesn't make any sense. So according to Allen Adler, America is a giant, evil, mocking Philistine. But America is also a shepherd boy who trusts God, and is a secret sharpshooter, and who kills America with a rock, and then cuts off America's head, and who later goes on to slay tens of thousands of Philistine warriors. And then America cuts off like 4,000 foreskins and presents them to the king to win the princess's hand in marriage. Oh no! America is captured, but pretends to be crazy and mentally challenged and fools his enemies. And then America assembles the toughest fighting force in the world and becomes king, but sees a hot lady taking a bath one day, so America's like, hey, that lady is fine, BTB. Ah, crap, America didn't rub her up and now she's pregnant. America's busted, so America has her husband murdered, even though her husband was one of his best mates. And then America's son is like, I want to be America! But America's son has this wild hair, gets stuck in a tree, and then Is that what you meant? Listen, Al, for being Jewish, maybe you should have boned up on your Torah. And finally, the dedication. Before I had read the first page, before I had read anything in this book, I read the dedication and wrote in my notepad, depending on the context, this could end up being hilarious. Let me share it with you. The evil described in this book did not happen. It is my fervent hope that for the sake of my wife, Mary Jane, and of children like Pamela and Brian, it never will. So what's the verdict? Return to Pulp. This book is hot garbage, but I think Damon Knight's review of it way back in 1967 said it best. This is no novel. It is a half-heartedly novelized screen story. Blank-faced characters stand up and speak their lines woodenly without any perceptible motivation. Of characterization, explanation, depth of any kind, there is none. The book is so bad that ordinary epithets will not do. The style is pretentious, ignorant, and vulgar. It is incredibly, stupidly, loathsomely bad. And that, Mr. Adler, is how you use adverbs. Listen, folks, there's a finite number of books we can read in our lifetime. Don't waste a slot on this. I bought it for $1, and I've seen it go on eBay for $1 as well. But that $1 would be better spent on another book. Put it towards another book. Any other book. Put that $1 towards anything. Literally anything would be a better use than this. Anything. Crystal meth. And that's my review of Terror on Planet Ionus. I really want to throw it. I want to put it straight through that wall. But some of you have asked that I stop throwing these old books, and I said I would. I understand, but maybe I'll pretend I will through the magic of modern technology. Still might do it off camera. Have you damaged your brain cells reading this? Or maybe a better question is, what's the worst vintage sci-fi you've read? Because as we're discovering, there are some landmines back here, and we got to help each other out. As always, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time with Saga of Lost Earth. Why did I say it like that?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!